Many things. Is it your dream to work with Steven Seagal?
Yeah.
Is that on your bucket list?
I want to know who dyed his hair. Stevie Wonder.
That's all now. He exclusively works with celebrity Steve, so yeah, it was probably Stevie Wonder.
No, I was particularly annoyed. Some journalist told me on the junket, that was about 3-4 years ago, I was promoting one of the Tekken movies.
Right.
That Steven Seagal, this journalist suddenly said, hey, what do you think of Steven Seagal saying you don't know how to punch? I was like, what?
Yeah, because you're a boxer.
Well, I boxed as a kid, but
yeah.
I know how to punch.
Right.
I was like,
did he really say that about
apparently
you?
He did. Apparently.
Oh, boy. And boy, is he regretting that right now in that Halloween costume he's wearing in Russia.
Has he really moved to Russia?
Yeah, he moved to Russia. I don't know if he moved there or we sent him there and told him not.
Steven Seagal went on the MMA Hour, and Ariel was talking with him. And Steven Seagal said that never happened, and he's senile and delusional and this and that all that stuff that, you know, happened on set, supposedly, allegedly, didn't happen. What do you think about that?
Well, would you ever admit it, A? And B, I mean, obviously the guy's a liar. I mean, he told everybody he taught Anderson Silva that kick. I mean, seriously, the guy doesn't have a very good track record. I'm so mad that he would say anything like that to Gene, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to give anyone another
that would
quote.
get you
I'm
heated.
gonna give you another quote. I would beat the crap out of Steven Seagal, but I bet I could. Hell yeah. You know what? If he says anything bad about Gene to my face, I would be forced to do so. Of course I would. I had to make him crap his pants a second time.
You think his, like, any of his talk in MMA, any of his is real? Do you think he's a legit force?
No. He's Aikido. I mean, Aikido's cool. But I mean, like, who in MMA does Aikido? Who has an Aikido background? So-and-so coming in the cage is a world champion with a background in Aikido. You never heard that once. Have you ever heard that once? It's for a reason. It's because Gene LaBelle would destroy Steven Seagal again, even as old as they are now. If they had like super master division, Gene would still throw it down, man. I'd still put my money on him to this day.
And the first day we get together for rehearsal with the actors and the director, he comes in, I'm in command. What I say is law. You disagree? And I started cracking. I was like, I thought he was kidding. We were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And he Aikido'd me against a brick wall. Pow! Knocked all the air out of me. I was like, why? Why? Yeah. I mean, what I really want to say is how big and fat he is and how he runs like a bitch. But look at it online. You can see he runs like this. I'm not kidding. like he's a double dutching little bitch, but he hits like he is like an Aikido master. He is 6'5". I'm scared of leaving the studio now. I'm gonna sleep here tonight.
He runs like a.
I'm not going anywhere.
He runs like a little girl, but he hit like a big strong.
We were shooting on a houseboat lake up in Toronto, and the director said, well, let's practice. Let's rehearse this scene one time. It's kind of complicated. We're sitting around, it's DMX or whatever, and Steve Seagal's like, I don't rehearse, man. And he goes, no, seriously, just for camera, will you let us rehearse? No, let's just shoot it. Let's shoot this. He goes, okay. So anyways, he starts, and Steven Seagal's like, well, I will tell you one thing. And he starts to get up. He goes, I'm going to kick all your asses. And he starts walking out towards what he thinks is a door, but it's not the right door. It's the door that goes into the ocean, okay? I swear. And I'm going to say, oh my gosh, you're going to the wrong door. But then I know what's happening, so I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. And he takes a step and he drops into the ocean, just out of frame. And you know, at the time he'd colored in his hair, he had about that much black, like magic marker kind of thing. He's a great guy, by the way. And he wouldn't wear a hairpiece, so he just painted in. And if you watch the movie up close, you could go, oh my God, there's like an inch of black stuff. And he's like kind of fat for a muscle guy. He's got very big wrists, so. And he's, you know, and he, so I looked down and I was like, holy buddy. And so he comes up, he's sort of embarrassed, and because, you know, and the black stuff is ready up. But, you know, that was fun, that was great.
That's
amazing.
It was
a great moment.
That's
but
amazing.
I remember going, I should tell him. And I look at the director and he's like, and then he walks and then
Last question. Last.
A colleague of mine is having some issues with his girlfriend. Christ, he came off with a fight between Steven Seagal and Boss Rutan.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's the short answer. Boss Rutan all the way. I'm sorry, girlfriend, you're wrong. I will slap him, pop, 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 pop in the face, grab his ponytail, maybe a headbutt here and there, and I fold him up. No doubt.
But he was meeting Steven Seagal for the rewrite, for the writing, potentially, for Under Siege 2.
Right.
And that was the one that broke him when it made $57 million, when that was $57 million in the early 90s. And so he goes into one of those trailers, to meet with Steven Seagal, and he's on the set, and it's one of those big triple bangers where you go into this trailer and it's like you can get lost in there. It's a maze of pop-outs, It's like, which pop-out is Steven Seagal? And he's in the third bedroom to the left at the end of the hall.
Big star.
And he's waiting in there for 45 minutes. He's making him wait, sitting there by himself. Finally, Steven Seagal emerges from one of the other ante-rooms in the mobile home. And he comes out and he said, "I just read the greatest script I've ever read in my life." He goes, "Really? Who wrote it?" "I did." But I will say there's a newer one, and I think it's even superior. It's this has happened. I just heard that because I collect those stories like jewels. Anytime there's a Steven Seagal story, I love the Jamie Presley one. Where it's, "I'm an expert in shiatsu massage. Please let me massage you." You told me that one. And next thing you know, she's having her boobs grabbed on by him. I'm an expert in shiatsu. Let me give me those titties, baby. So anyway, he's doing a movie. He's doing a movie with Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Right.
And I did one, and that's where I heard Keenan tell me this story. I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story. But Steven Seagal had just met with the Dalai Lama. And apparently, if you give enough money to the Dalai Lama's charities, eventually you get something out of it.
Right.
And so the Dalai Lama made him a deity.
Wow.
A god. Some Tibetan Buddhist,
That must have really appealed to his ego.
Oh, yeah, no, it must have. No, so anyway, he comes to the set after he makes with the Dalai Lama, and he comes, now he's a god. He comes to the set, now he was Steven Seagal, now Steven Seagal. Now he's Steven Seagal, the god, the deity from the Dalai Lama. And he comes to the set, and he's there, and Keenan says, "So what? I just met with the Dalai Lama, and he, in his wisdom, decided to make me a deity." And he gives the quang karang the ding da dong, whatever. And I feel a difference. I feel like an enlightenment, the sense of that I can do something now, and everything just seems to come into place for me spiritually and in my career. And I feel like it's certain things now that never made sense to me make sense to me on a universal level. And his assistant comes up to him and says, "Hey, Steven, your ex-wife called. You can't bring the kids over this weekend." "You tell that fucking cunt. If she doesn't get those kids over here, I'll break her fucking neck."
In terms of your life in America, you've been very much caught up in all the allegations of sexual harassment. You had a rape allegation against you, and I wonder how you deal with all that. Hello, Steven Seagal.
People love to make up shit. I was reading up all the shit that Steven Seagal's made up all through his career, because there's a whole thing going on right now where Steven Seagal told everybody that Anderson Silva, he taught Anderson that kick, right, which is kind of what he's supposed to do, right? I mean, there's videos of him training with Anderson. Well, fucking Anderson barely even speaks English. Just run around and tell everybody that you taught him it, and you know what? Anderson's so cool, he'll probably be like, yeah, he taught me, he's a good guy.
I always thought that was just him playing a goof.
But Anderson played a goof. Anderson might be playing a goof. Didn't he do a little
Wing Chun in the
Well, he always does that. He'll do a little, like, moving the hands funny, and he's just letting you know he's ready to fucking explode in your face.
Ready to kick you in the chin.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous fight.
That was ridiculous.
Is he really saying that? Is he really saying that he's the one that taught him?
Yeah, Steven Seagal's really saying that. Boss Rutan went fucking crazy. And Boss Rutan, I'm going to go do an advertisement for his gym, so I'm going to try to get him on the podcast, too, because Boss Rutan will have some fucking amazing stories of brawls in Holland. He's just a savage. I love Boss Rutan. But Boss went crazy on Twitter, and he's like, what planet is he from? Did he learn this from fucking Disneyland? He's like, Boss Rutan's going crazy on Twitter. He's angry at Steven Seagal.
I heard an unverified story about when Gene LaBelle and Steven Seagal had a...
Yeah, that's a true story. That's an absolute true story. Gene LaBelle told me that story.
Yeah.
Gene tells you it like this. He doesn't actually tell you the whole story.
What's the story?
Well, Steven was trying to say that no one could choke him out. You can't choke him out. He had this move. This move stop you from choking out. So, I was like, all right, Steven, let's try it. And I get him in a headlock there. I get him in the rear naked. And he takes this hand, the free hand, and then you just karate chops me right in, the old sisters. And there's like, the way Gene LaBelle talks, he wouldn't even say his balls. He's like the nicest guy ever. He would say something like, right in the old Johnson, and then, and then I guess he got tired after doing that and he just fell asleep. And I guess maybe he forgot to go to the bathroom. So he went to the bathroom then.
Oh, that's hilarious. Holy shit.
And if you know Gene LaBelle is like, first of all, he was like one of the original mixed martial artists. He's a judo guy that had cage fights, or it wasn't a cage. It was basically a mixed rules fight where he fought a boxer. He fought a boxer with his judo gi on and just took the boxer down and beat his ass. Gene was he's like the guy that taught Bruce Lee about grappling. Bruce Lee back in the day thought you could just karate kick everybody in the head and that was the shit, Right. And Bruce Lee actually worked on a lot of like more effective things like leg kicks and short range techniques, Wing Chun and boxing punches and stuff like that. But he really wasn't aware about grappling until he hooked up with Gene LaBelle. And Gene LaBelle's a fucking gorilla. He's just, a national champion judo player, and he's just so fucking ridiculously strong that I'm sure he grabbed that little 135-pound Chinese man and had him fucking shit in his pants going, okay, now we learn grapple. You had to learn grappling after you fucked around with Gene LaBelle.
I wanted to ask you, there's been this sort of story that's been passed around, and I like to get to the bottom of things. I'm sure you can appreciate that. You versus Judo Gene LaBelle. What exactly happened on the set of that movie?
I don't even know if he's still alive. Is he still alive?
Actually, we just had him on the show like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. I never knew this about him. Either he is a pathological liar or he had somebody, making up these stories. He came over to my trailer, and I was with a guy called Conrad Palmisano, who is still a legend and one of the greatest stunt coordinators in the history of Hollywood. And we were standing there, we were just talking about moves and stuff like that, and we were just doing some stretching. And, he was showing me, how you can stretch, or he wanted to stretch my back, and he stretched my back, and then I just kind of, flipped over the top of him and said thank you for that. There was never, ever any confrontation with him, ever.
Never.
In any way, shape, or form, and I swear to God on my children, they're the most sacred thing to me in this life. And so if he said that, he is a pathological scumbag liar.
So where does this come from? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I keep answering that. Either he made up this lie or someone made it up. And when I first heard that, I was dumbfounded, and so was Conrad Palmisano, who you're welcome to go talk to. He was standing right there, and he's probably the most famous stunt coordinator in our business, and Vietnam veteran and a great salt-of-the-earth, honest, upright, honorable, non-lying man.
Well, just to be fair to him, this is what he said when I asked him, just so to set the record straight. He never really wanted to clear the air for whatever reason, but he did say, well, if a guy soils himself, you can't criticize him, because if they just had a nice big dinner an hour before, you might have a tendency to do that. That's what he was implying. Obviously, the story we've heard is sort of related to that. So you're saying that someone has created this sort of fable, this myth of an altercation that never even happened. And I'm just wondering how it has continued to live on.
Gene LaBelle has never even said anything impolite to me. When he would see me, he was extremely polite and just acted like a friend. And I think you know the truth here, and I think everybody else knows the truth here. And if Gene is saying shit like that, he should be ashamed of himself. And after I heard this, I did start to think of some of the things that he had said. Like, he said to me that he beat the shit out of Bruce Lee. And, so I just started thinking, well, you know what, maybe this guy really is a pathological liar.
Yeah. Maybe this is the fight that we should book in the UFC.
And I mean, well, he's got to be, 78 years old?
Oh, yeah, if not older.
Maybe he's 80.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but whether he's 150 or 10 years old, he should never make up these kind of sick, I mean, it just makes him look like a total asshole.
Yeah.
If he's the one who's saying.
It's unfortunate.
I mean, it makes him look like a demented child.
Are you familiar with his student, Ronda Rousey? Are you impressed by her?
I've never heard of. It's a her. I've never heard of her.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. I don't mean to rile you up or everything. I thought this was a very fun interview. I just really wanted to get to the bottom of the story, and I think we finally put the nail in that coffin. Don't you think?
Yeah, you know what you should do if you don't believe me, and I'm pretty positive you do.
I do.
Find Conrad Parmigiano. I know you do. Then find Conrad Parmigiano and let him call Conrad a liar too. I mean, this guy. I mean, if he said those things, he should go have therapy.
And by the way, one last thing. You mentioned Bruce Lee. Have you ever met Bruce? Obviously, when he was alive.
Yes. Yes.
How do you think he would have done in the UFC?
I really don't know. I mean, you know, obviously Danny Inosanto, these are real guys, you know, Danny Inosanto and people like that. I mean, Danny and I go way, way back. We are brothers, cut from the same cloth, you know. And I think that, you know, I met Bruce through James Coburn, and I met Bruce at his house many times, and, you know, I knew Brandon, too. I first met Brandon when he was a baby boy, you know, probably 6 or 7 years old, something like that, young boy.
Well, Sensei, on our 3rd anniversary, this is our 3rd anniversary show, a major honor for us.
Hey!